Okay, now we will write a couple of scenarios, test case here. So I have identified one website, so I will just walk through that website. So this is just only for the testing purpose. So in the below you can see there are dynamic ID, class attribute, hidden layers, load delay. There are multiple type of things are here in this website. So we can just go through one by one actually. Okay. So in the first test case, what will we do? I have just written the couple of scenarios here. So first test is, you can read this line number 5, verify presence of button with dynamic ID on dynamic ID page. So when I click on this dynamic ID page, I will be on dynamic ID page. This is dynamic ID page actually, and I have to verify the button is present or not on this page. Okay, this is the first scenario. Then second scenario, verify the presence of green button on the class attribute page. Okay, so I'm again going back. This is a class attribute page, this one. Okay, and then I have to verify this presence of this green button, if there is present or not. Okay, or any button actually. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I'm writing the test case for these two scenarios now. Okay, so I have written the code WebDriver manager dot Chrome driver dot setup, means it will just set up the Chrome driver for me. Then simple this line, WebDriver driver is equal to new Chrome driver. So it will just open the Chrome driver and give the reference to the driver. So on that driver, I will just use the get call or find elements method based on requirement. Okay. So till this line, my browser, that website opened in the Chrome browser. Okay. So next, what will I do? I will just click on that dynamic ID link. I'm just creating the locator for this by using the XPath. Okay, so it's anchor tag A. And then I will just create the text specs loader. So this is a text dynamic ID. I will just copy this. Now I will put the /A text. Text is a method. So I'm just putting the round braces there. And in the single quote, the dynamic ID. So it's pointing at right point. So it's a dynamic ID. Okay. So I have used driver.find element by XPath, and this ID it will click, and it will simply navigate to this dynamic ID page. Okay. Now I'll just put driver title as well. Okay, this is the first scenario. I'm deleting this part. Then now I have to go for the second one. Okay. So if you are using the main method, what is the issue? If we cannot write everything in this class, right? So I will just create a method for this. Okay. I'm just copying this. I'm just putting into the one method called as a public static test one. Okay. I will simply copy that code here. And I will just call this method. And this is our one test case. Okay. So this is the test one. Now from above, I'm just deleting this code. Okay. Similarly, I will write a second test case. I'm just copying the code again. It's a test 2. So till line number 33, it's the same. We have to navigate to this website, and then we have to find for the second page now. So which is second page, this class attribute. So I'm just again creating locator for this. So I will just put this class attribute text into the locator in XPath. Okay, it's pointing to the class attribute. Okay, so I will just copy this. We'll just paste it here. And I'm performing .click option. So it will just click on that link and it will navigate to the next page. Okay. So now expectation is that class attribute page should get open. Okay. So these are the two test cases that we have written now. So I will just call this test case from the main method. Chrominode is equal to new Chrominode. This is the class name. We'll use the reference to call the method dot test1, and then I'll just copy this line, paste it here, and make it as a test2. Okay, so I'm executing this program now. Okay, I'm just clean up the code. I will just remove the extra lines. Okay, fine. Right click, run as Java application. So now you can observe the what is happening in the UI. It is going so fast. I will just put the output wait now. Sleep. Same for second test case as well. It is not recommended. I'm just showing you this only for learning purpose. Okay, I'm just making the execution slow. Run as Java application. It is open the site, navigated to the dynamic ID page, close the window. The second test case, navigated to the site, we'll click on the class attribute, navigate it to the class attribute page, and then close the window. These are the steps. Okay. So now here you can see we have written a duplicate step actually. So this part is duplicate till the navigation. Okay. And again at the last, this is a duplicate. So in both the test cases, we have written duplicate code. Here, driver.quit is common between these two test cases. And again, here, this code is duplicate. Okay, so only difference is we have written this much code as a part of new test case. So avoid the duplication and avoid the redundancy of the code, we have to use the test-ng. So test-ng is again an automation framework that we have to use it here to avoid the code duplication. So we can just put the common code somewhere in the test-ng annotation. Actually, we will create a separate method here and we will call that method before this and after this actually. So if you want to execute this test case, we will simply keep this code into the before method. So it will simply execute that code before this test case, before starting this test case. And if you are using after method annotation there, it will just execute this code after execution of this line of code only. Okay. So again, the today's session is for the test-ng. So that's why I give the background of this test cases. Okay. So because we will be starting with the framework development now. In that, we will just cover all the things which are present on the UI here. Dynamic ID, class attribute, load, delay, text input, and also we are going to create a dynamic locator as well. So you can see this dynamic table. Now you can see values are 3.7, 6.8. I am just refreshing the page. You will get some different values here. Okay, so we are going to create this dynamic lookup as well to handle these tables as well. Okay, so I am starting with the test ng. Okay, so test ng is for the next generation. Okay, and to make the test easy, the Cedric Biost, actually this is a person, Cedric Biost, who developed this test ng. Okay, so you have to remember this name only. So we will go with the installation of this test engine now. Okay, so I will just ping you an URL in the chat window. Okay, so this is a URL from where we can just install the test ng. So what are the steps to install the test ng? Go to the help menu, go to the install new software, and you can see install window will get open here. Then in work with, you have to click on add button. You have to give the name, meaningful name. Okay, so I'm giving the test ng. You have to provide that URL that I have pinged in the chat window. So you have just copy that. Okay, just copy that URL and keep it in your local machine. Click on add button. Now you can see this option will get display here. Test engine, you have to tick this. Okay, sorry guys, there is power cut, so I just connected through the mobile hotspot. Okay. Okay, so I have ticked this test ng. Am I audible, guys? Just confirm someone.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Okay. So I have to take this. And I have to click on next. In my Eclipse, it's already installed. That's why I'm not clicking on this next button. Okay. Simply you have to click next, and then finish at the last. And it will take approximate 2 to 3 minutes to install the test ng in your Eclipse. Okay. So this is the one step of the installation of the test ng. I'll close this window now. And second, you have to put one dependency in the pom.xml for the test ng. Okay, I'm just googling that dependency, test ng maven dependency. I'm opening the site, central repository. Okay, so here you can see you can just download any version which is most downloaded. So you can go with the latest as well because it is downloaded 133, or you can just go ahead with the port 55. If you are facing some issue with the latest one, you can just downgrade your test ng version. Okay, so I'm going with this for 55. In the maven tab, you have to copy this dependency. You have to paste it into the pom.xml. I have already done it. Okay, so you can see I have already done this test ng. I have already added this dependency into pom.xml. Okay, but there is some issue with this dependency right now. So along with this dependency, you have to keep this dependency as well there. Okay, in your system. This Google inject. So I got some error when I just put this dependency. So I googled that error and I got the resolution that we have to add this one more dependency, and that will resolve your problem. Okay, so anything you are getting the issue because all these things are open source, so you might get issue in the future. So just google that out, you will get the solution online, because these softwares have very much big support from the community. Okay, so if you done this, you will able to use the test ng features. Okay, so now here we are using the main method, okay, to execute our code. Without this we cannot do. But in the test engine now, we will just skip this part. We'll simply delete this part. We don't need this now. So we'll simply use @test annotation here. You can see org test engine annotation @test. I'm just clicking on that. It has got imported here in the import, and simply I will just put that same annotation here in the @test again. So we are not going to use the main method in the automation framework. Just remember this. And I'm executing this code. So it will execute in usual way that we have seen previously. First test case completes. Second test case is in progress. Okay, second test case is also done. Okay, fine. So we can use this @test annotation. So this is one annotation only. We have multiple annotations in the test ng. So we will walk through that as well, and I will tell you the use of that. Okay, so test ng features. Basically, it supports annotations. Annotations means with what things which we write with the @. Okay, this all are annotations. So I will just put @ here. I will just show you. You can see @test. Then forget about this deprecated override safety warning. Okay, then after class, after group, after method, after suit, after test. These are all important annotations that we are using. Then again, before class, before group, before method, before suit, before test. Okay, so and data provider as well. This is the important one, data provider, that is used to provide data from the Excel sheet or any data source. Actually, SQL database, we can just directly pass the data here in the test case, and we can directly use that by using data provider annotations in the test engine. Okay, so this annotation, then flexible runtime configuration. Suppose if you want to execute test case parallelly, and suppose if you want to execute only 10 test case out of 100, so we can just provide that 10 test case into the test ng.xml file that I will show in future, and we can execute only that 10 test cases. Okay. Then parameterization of the test method. Parameterization means what? We can use data provider here actually. And suppose if you want to execute test case on the Chrome or only on the different browser, so we can just provide the parameter, and only for particular browser our test case will get run. Now here we have hard-coded this part. We will not hard-code this part later. Okay, so the test case can be run for multiple browser as well. That we called as a parameterization. Okay, so now fourth step, support dependent test method on group. So for example, initially we will just execute the smoke or sanity, and then we will just execute the end-to-end flows. Okay, so suppose our basic sanity group has failed, so there is no point in executing the end-to-end test cases because our basic functionality is not working. So in that case, what will we do? We can just make the smoke. We will just make the tag there, few tags there for the smoke test case. We will execute that. If that is not passing, if that is failing, so we will just use some depend on annotation here. You can just put like this, depends on group or depends on method. You will just provide that name on which group this test case got defined, depend actually. So I will just provide kind of smoke. So if the smoke is passed, then only this test case will get passed. Otherwise, it will not execute. It will just keep, and it will just save the execution time. Okay. So this depends method and depend group annotations that we can use in the test ng. Okay. So fifth point, support for multi-threaded testing. Multi-threaded testing is parallel testing. We can just suppose now I am running the two test cases which are independent. So I can execute these two test cases parallelly. Means I will just open the two browsers simultaneously, and in two browser I will in first browser I will execute this test case, and in second browser I will execute this test case. Okay, that is called as a parallel execution. Internally is the multi-threading. So yeah, so we don't have to worry about how it work actually. So we have to just configure that into testng.xml. That again I will show you, and we will just execute this test case parallelly. Okay, then 6 XML based test configuration. So I'm talking about testng.xml, right? So in testng.xml we can just provide the configuration if you want to execute test case parallelly, which test cases we have to define, which test case we have to execute, and which test case we don't have to define, don't have to execute, that we can put into the different tag, kind of include and exclude tag. Okay, so that configuration we can do into the form that testng.xml file. Okay, so this is again feature of the testng. And then inbuilt reporting. Suppose if you are executing the test cases, that report will get generated automatically. Okay, so I will just show you this now only. So now we have executed these two test cases. Okay, so I will just open this result. You can see we are able to see new tab here, result of test, result of running class Chrome Invoke. Okay, so we will get report in this way. Okay, so I will just opening the index.html file here. So this is the inbuilt reporting. We don't have to do anything here. In result you can see two methods, two past method, test1, test2. Okay, so as of now we have not printed anything in them inside the test case, though that's why it's just printing the method name. Okay, test1 and test2. So this is the inbuilt reporting provided by the testng. Okay, then data driven testing. As I have said, there is one annotation called as a @data provider. Okay, so by using that we can simply pass the data to the test cases.
Can you please show again how do you open the report?
Yes, I'll just show that. I will just close this window. I'm just running this test case again. Now you can see the report will generate, and you will get one more extra tab here at the last. Okay, at the last there is one tab opened, result of running class Chrome Invoke. Now it got failed. Yeah, depend on. I just put this depend on, but it is not present. That's why test case got failed. I will just comment out this, delete this, and I will just execute it again. I will just open the report. Okay, leave it. So at the last you can see this option, open testng report. I'm clicking on this. And in result you can see this options. Okay, test1, test2. Got it? I think it's a Diksha, right?
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, this is just a high level overview of the testng that actually we are using in the framework development as well. So I'm just providing you information now.
One more, how we will know that how many annotations are there and what is its use?
Yeah, that I will going to tell in next slides. It's present
Okay,
actually in the next slide. Okay.
okay.
Today is only testng session, because before starting with proceeding with the framework development, we should know this testng, Maven, and Selenium Java. Okay, that's why I'm taking this session earlier.
Okay, yes, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so this is a testng reporting, and yeah, so data driven testing. Yeah, so there is one more thing that is called as a data provider. So if you want to pass some data, now in this case, suppose we need some credential to execute test case. So in that case, we will simply use this data provider in here. Data provider. I will just show you the practical as well for this proper practical actually in framework development part. So data provider, and we have to pass the data provider name. Suppose I will just put some data, okay, like this. And here we have, suppose if you are passing if you are using two parameters here in the data, when we are defining the data provider, we have to pass that much parameter here. Again, this is confusing part for you now, so just ignore. Just remember this: we can use data provider to pass the data from the external data source. Data source can be Excel, XML, anything actually, from where we can get the data. Again, I'm deleting this. Okay, so that's data driven testing. Okay, now coming to the annotations. What are annotation are present here in the test engine? So now we have seen this at the test. Okay, so this is actually used to execute the test case. Okay, suppose anything that has to be executed before this method at the test, so you have to use this at the before method annotation. Okay, and anything that we have to execute after this test case at the test, we have to use this at the after method. Okay, similarly, if suppose now I'm working on the one class, and this is a Chrome Invoke class. Then can be multiple classes. Okay, so suppose if I want to execute something before the class, before class execution got started, so we have to use this annotation before class. And for after class, we can go for the at the rate after class. Okay, so now think about this before test and after test. Okay, suppose we have 10 classes. So out of the 10 classes, I have just make a suit. I have just make the combination. I will just keep the 3 classes, and I can just use the at the rate, sorry, not at the rate, sorry. Suppose I'll just make the example in the notepad, so it will be easy for you. Suppose I have class A, I have class B, I have class C, and one more I will put class D. Suppose these 4 classes I have, but there are few things that only I have to execute before this A and B, and I don't want to apply for C and D. So in that case, I will just make one configuration in the test.xml, and I will just use this at the rate before test annotation here only for these 2 classes. I will just skip this part. So for that purpose, I will just use at the rate before test. That again, I will show this thing as well you in runtime. Okay. And last one is what is the at the rate before suit. So before suit, what is anything that we are going to execute before starting execute, the few things should be initialized or defined that we can define in the at the rate before suit. Okay, so at the rate before suit will be get executed at the first, then at the rate before test, then at the rate before class, then before method, and then actual our test case will get executed. Okay, so I will just show you the partial practical for this now. How will it get executed? I'm just creating a new class. I'm in the debug perspective. I will just make it as a Java perspective, and we'll create a separate class here. Annotation test. Okay, so I'm not using main method now. From next session onward, I will not use the main method. Okay, so I will just use the test engine annotations. Suppose public while method A. I will just make instead of method, I will just make it as a test A. Okay, I will just use the sentences out inside method inside test A. I'll just put test. Okay, so for this I will just apply the at the rate test annotation. Okay, so suppose there is a requirement that I have to execute before this actual test case. Okay, so I will just use at the rate before test, this last annotation. Okay, I will just make it as some name before test only. Okay, then I will just copy this inside before test. Okay, and suppose there is a requirement, I have to write something, or I have to execute some code after this test case got executed. After this code, then I will just put code at the rate after test. It is giving error because there is same name, so I'm just changing the name here. Okay, so what will be the sequence now? Sequence will be this will get printed at first, then this part actual test, and then this after test means this one. Okay, this is sequence now. I'm just executing this code. You can see the output. I'm just opening the console. Now you can see first inside before test, then inside test A, actual test case, and then at the rate, then after inside after test. Okay, so this is sequence here. This is strictly follow in the test ng. Okay, so now we'll go for few more annotation. So we'll go for the before class and after class. Okay, here itself you can write the before class. Okay, before class. So you have to just remember the sequence actually, which method get executed first and which at the last. Now I will execute this. Just print something here to make it more readable. Executing this code. You can see first inside before class, after class, before test, before method. Oh, sorry, I used the wrong annotation here. Actually, it's not a before test, it's a before method. Yes, it's a before method actually. Okay, so let's make it correction. I will explain it again. After method and before method. Actually, I'm using the test word. That's why I just put the after test and before test. So actually, it's a method. Okay. So what I've changed, actually, I have changed that after test and before test to the before method and after method. Okay. So first, this will get executed. Sorry, no. Before this will get executed. Okay. And before this, again, before this one, this will get executed. Okay. So we will just go for first for the class, then method, and then actual test case. Actually, our test case is a method only. Okay. This is called as a method only. That's why we have using annotation before method and after method. Okay. So I'm executing this code now. Opening the console. Yeah, you can see inside before class, then before test, then actual test, then after. Actually, it's not after test, it's after method actually. Okay. So I will just make it as after. Okay. So just forget about this printed statement. So it's inside after method and then inside after class. Okay. So this is sequence test ng follows. Okay. So from left to right, the sequence will get followed for the execution. So for any doubts here in the annotation. So only you have to remember the annotation sequence. That's it.
Can we write the multiple annotations same? Like if we have two methods and we can write two times before before method or after method?
No. For example, there is a criteria. Suppose if I want to execute this test case. Okay. So why we are using the to before method? There is no point in writing two main method, right? So you can simply write one code that will be applicable for this test case. That's it.
Okay, so we can't use like
No.
like one again confusion, like if we write before method and here you have written the after method.
Yes.
What if, like, what error we will get? We again use the before method annotation here.
I have not used it. Simply should not allowed.
Okay.
I will just try that as well. I will just make it as a. I'll just first correct the naming convention. Before, okay. And now I'll execute this code. But this is not recommended actually. There should be only one before method or only one after method. We'll see the output here. Before method, then it will go sequentially. I will just make the sequence change here. So we should not rely on the sequence actually, execution sequence. We'll put 1, 3, make it a 2. Now I'll execute this. We'll see the output. So now before method, new, then pre. So you can see there is no sequence actually. So it will get executed randomly. So you will be mess up with their test case then. And basically these annotations, we will just keep one annotation in the class. This will be annotation as in the test suite, test classes actually, and other annotation we will keep in the separate classes simply. Now for learning purpose, I'm just putting this into the same class. Okay. So you should write only one annotation at a time.
Okay. Yes.
There is no point actually. It will be just confusion for you as well. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Fine.
So one thing here.
Yeah. Tell me.
If any annotation is repeated, so it will execute according alphabetically.
Yeah. Alphabetically means what? You are talking about. Can you repeat again?
Yes. Suppose you have used 3 methods here, right? Now
this, this, and this.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you use this, it will be going alphabetically.
Yes.
Right. If there is no alphabet, it will go in the way it is written over here. Suppose this is written before method pre this one.
Actually, in this case, it is just going in this way actually. Before test, then before test 1, because we have written 1. Yes. It's alphabetical kind of, we can say.
Yes.
Or number in ascending order. Okay.
Yes.
And then before mesh 2. But we should not use this approach. Don't rely on the alphabetical order. Just write only one before method after method, or only one before class after class. You should only use once only, not twice.
Okay. But in case of test annotation, only test annotation, we use it multiple times, right?
Yeah, of course. This is test case actually, right?
Yes.
These are the test cases actually. Yes, so we have to write it we can write it multiple times.
Yes.
That's
so not this annotation we can use multiple times.
Yes, multiple times. Perfect.
It is recommended.
Yes, it's recommended. It's needed actually, not recommended. Yes. It's needed.
Yes, to run the test for this.
Yes, right. So this is a test case. It can be executed multiple times.
Got it.
Okay. So yeah. So output will be this now. So I will just again print the output. I will just delete that new method that I have created, pre and the new. And I will show the output for this as well. Now, whole thing will be repeated for the test A plus test B. Okay. I will execute the code. Now see, before class executed once, then before method, then actual test case, then after test. Means actually this is after method. Okay. So again, same thing happened for the B. Before method, then before after method, and then after class. Because both the methods are in the same class. That's why this before class is called only once, before class and after class. If you are put in the different classes, the same will happen. This will, for this test day, the before class and after class will execute separately again, means multiple times. Okay. Fine.
So, Yogesh, we can also give the priorities to the at the test, right?
Yes, we can give the priority as well here in the bracket. Zero. Then we can give priority here. That again I'm going to cover as well in next slide. Okay. So this will execute first and this will execute last, because least priority will execute first and then again with the ascending order actually. So this will be the first and this is the last. Okay. For time being, I'm just commenting the above annotation to avoid the confusion here. So it will not get executed. Now I'm executing this program. What happened? Get the test. Let me execute it again. Yes, now got executed. Okay, fine. You can see first test B and then test A. So least sequence will be executed first and then at the highest priority will be executed at the last. Okay. So just remember that we can just do the minus as well, this priority as well. That's fine. But always start with the 0. Okay. If there is no recommendation, but always we start always with the 0. 0, 1, 2, 3 like this. Okay. In that sequence, the test case will get executed. Okay. Then test-ng life cycle. Okay. So this actually you can understand. So unit test means actually this is our test case. Okay. So this is a method actually. It is called as a method here. And then before method, after method. Suppose if you want to execute this test case and we have written the before method, after method. So while executing this test case, before method and after method will get called. Okay. Same class level as well. Then test and then before, so that I showed you. So you can just see the diagram, and if you have any question, just ask me. Okay, fine. Then test-ng annotation attributes. Okay. Okay. So we can provide the description. We can provide the timeout. Means suppose how much time test case should take, and after the time limit cross, the test case should get failed. Then of course priority depends on method, enabled, and groups. We can just make the test case in the groups. So I will go one by one here. First, for the description, we will just create one more test case here. I can just provide the description. You can see the options here actually. Always run, then data provider, depends on group, depends on method, then description, enabled, then expected exception, that also we are going to cover. Then groups, we can make this test case as a part of one group. Then invocation count, means suppose if you want to execute test case, this same test case 10 times. So we will just use this invocation count, and same test case will execute at 10 times. Okay, the invocation timeout again, we can provide the time, when that specific time only test case should get executed, or that again, that if that will not happen, the test case will get failed. Okay, then priority, Okay, then test name, timeout. Yeah, timeout again we are going to cover. Okay, we'll start with the description. Description is this is a test C. Okay, so this kind of description we can give, and we will get this description in the test-ng report. Okay, so this is a description. Then timeout we can give here. I will just make it another one again, or I will just make it comma separate timeout. I will just make it as a 3 second. Okay, then priority we have seen earlier, this priority. Then depends on method. Depends on method means I will just show you depends on method, and I will just use this name here, test B. Okay, depends on method means what? Suppose this test case got failed, this will not get executed. Okay, because we have put depend on method test B. Okay, so this use of the depend on method and depend on group as well. Okay, then enabled and then groups. Okay, so enabled. So if you make enabled as a false, so this test case will not get executed. Okay, because we are just disabling the test case. Okay, then at the last, groups. We can provide any group name here. Groups. I will just make this test case as a part of smoke testing. So I will just make it as a smoke, and we can include this group in the test-ng.xml to execute these test cases. Okay, or if you want to, suppose now this test case is a part of a smoke group, and other test cases are depend on this test case, so we can just make another test case. I will just minimize this windows left and right, and the below I will just reduce the size. Okay, now you can see this test case is a part of a smoke group. Okay, so here if I will just make the test case dependent on this. Actually, I will just add one more annotation here, depends on group. I will just provide the group as a smoke now. So if this test case got failed, this will not get executed. Okay, because I have just use the option depends on group smoke. Okay, and this is from this test case from the smoke group. This grouping can be done in the test-ng. Okay, so if you think without the test-ng, so it's very difficult to manage this all the annotations, or we can say all the features that provided by the test-ng. So we have to use the test-ng here in automation. So far, any doubts here, guys? Think no. Okay. Smoke. I think I have made the spelling mistake here. It's given the error depends on non-existence group smoke. This is small here, and I just kept this camel here. So I will just make it camel, and I will execute the test case simply. So you can try the different options provided by the test-ng that I have told you now. Smoke again. I have made test. I have used multiple options here. Enabled as a false, timeout depends on test B. That's why it's complicated and it's not executing actually. Okay, so that's fine. I will just use this in the framework, our framework, to execute specific test cases only. Okay. So guys, that is for the today. So if you have any question, let me know. And tomorrow session, we are going to cover this listeners part. Then exception handling by using test-ng. Okay, and difference between test-ng, JUnit. Okay, and we will just create a folder structure as well for the framework by tomorrow. Okay, fine. Yeah, I think someone pinged me. Fine. Okay, I missed few chat. I'm just reading that. I think Nagendra, I missed that. Parot, you're asking actually. Repeat the step. I just missed that. Sometime I won't get the chat notification. Okay, fine. I'm reading the last question, Nagendra. Can you please explain the before shoot and after test? Before shoot and before test. Okay. So actually, this I'll explain properly in the when I create the test.ng.xml file. Okay. In that case, because everything I'm writing in the same class, so you will get confused. It should be in separate classes, then it will be more clear for you, Nagendra. Yeah. This is only for the learning purpose. I'm showing all the things in same class. So just don't confuse between these classes. Just remember the sequence. That's it. That's enough for you now. Okay, guys, then we can wrap up. And I think Pooja have some doubt. I think Pooja Maitri, yeah. So stay back on the call. Others can drop off. Thank you, guys.
Okay, before everyone drop off, Yogesh.
Yeah.
We need to review their assignment tomorrow.
Yes, right. Yeah, I'm just talking about that. How we can review the assignment, Shri? On by sharing the screen or on mail or how? What is plan?
No, we can review it because it's not much of an item.
Yes,
they can
right.
share the screen, and first, anyway, we have 2-hour session tomorrow, right?
Yep,
so
right.
we can spend first half an hour to understand what they have done.
Yes, perfect. We can do.
Or else I'll do one thing. I'll tell everyone to send that to me. I'll review half of the stuff, and whatever will be pending, we'll review it tomorrow.
Yep. That's fine. That's great. Yeah.
That will save time, right? So.
Yep.
People who have worked on assignments, all of you who are available right now, 30 people, please send your assignments to me via email or in the chat group, Just send it across and we'll remove it, and I'll give the feedback tomorrow in the call. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Yogesh.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, Pooja, stay back on call and just share your screen and let me know what is the problem.
Hi Yogesh, Diksha here.